Why are you mad? Wouldn't you want to? I want the same thing for my son. I don't want him to ever have to work. Why does that bother a mother so much? And why is that always being thrown in my face that that's such a bad thing? That's not a bad thing.
And I told him, listen, no more handouts. No more handouts. It can't be, because I feel like I'm hurting my children just by, I give them money, they go shopping, they put gas in their car, they party, they come back, I need money.
I didn't teach them about contracts, I didn't teach them about saving, I didn't teach them about investments. Who would have taught him these things? Of course he's broke. He's a gambling addict. He got baby mamas all over the place. What do you mean is he broke? Of course he's broke. What boxer do you know that isn't broke? What a ridiculous question.
Yana Mayweather, Floyd's daughter, has ignited public controversy by claiming the boxing legend has squandered much of his fortune on extravagant living. She alleges that Floyd now refuses to financially support his children and demands they become self-sufficient through employment instead of relying on his financial assistance.
Don't have a pot to sit in a window to throw. I got tongue twisted. Don't have a pot to sit in a window to throw it out of. Bitch, don't even got a fucking car to drive. I'ma start popping it like that on y'all, cause I just be like, I be real laid back, I be cool, but I'm...
In a recent podcast interview, Floyd Mayweather Jr. allegedly stated he can no longer afford to give his children money. He emphasized they must achieve financial independence by launching businesses or securing jobs, rather than depending on him for monetary support.
Money, I buy them houses, I buy them cars. I told them, listen, from here on out, if you guys go to school or you work in one of my businesses, then you can branch off, get your own business, and I'll put the money up to help you start a business, but I need you guys to take what I've already started and triple and double that, and then I need my grandchildren to come behind you guys and do the same.
Chael Sonnen, former MMA fighter and commentator, has questioned whether Floyd actually earned the astronomical sums he publicly claimed during his career. Sonnen argues that boxing earnings are often exaggerated, yet Floyd maintained unlimited spending habits for years. This reckless financial behavior may explain why Floyd reportedly faces severe money troubles and could potentially be bankrupt.
Numbers that you hear in boxing simply aren't true. Floyd made $1 billion. No, he didn't. Floyd and Conor made $500 million. No, they didn't. Of course they didn't. Nobody's ever confirmed that. Literally nobody. It's the same thing with boxing pay-per-view. Whatever boxing pay-per-view is the biggest boxing pay-per-view of all time, it's just whoever put out the press release and lied more than the person before them. These have never been confirmed by leadership of a publicly traded company, who is the one that supplies the pay-per-view. It is illegal for them to lie. You have never heard Time Warner, you've never heard Cox, you've never heard DirecTV, you have never heard an executive come out and confirm any of the absurd pay-per-view numbers that you believe to be true. The numbers aren't what you think they are, right? The numbers are good and they made a lot of money, but it's not what you think it is. And yeah, of course Floyd's broke.
Sonnen further elaborated his skepticism by claiming no concrete evidence exists proving Floyd received the massive multi-million-dollar purses he boasted about earning from his fights.
And it's the same thing with the check. I got $100 million for a fight. Oh, you did? Who signed the check? Whoever signed the check is going to want credit for it. There's never been a time that $1 million check was written and the dude that wrote the check didn't make sure that somebody found out he wrote the check. So who wrote the check? Floyd's got a whole bunch of them, apparently. He got $1 billion. Who wrote the check?
Former ESPN columnist Jason Whitlock alleged Floyd has burned through enormous sums trying to stay in the spotlight and sustain his celebrity lifestyle. Whitlock believes these expenditures have created debt problems, compelling Floyd to exit retirement to fulfill financial obligations and repay creditors.
What Floyd Mayweather is an example of the stupidity of living for the culture and trying to be relatable and trying to be this incredible icon or example of, look how much money I've made. He's blown it all. And now at 49 years old, he's got to go back into the boxing ring and continue to fight because he's in a lot of debt. And this is what I was trying to make the point to Cam Newton about. This whole, I'm doing it for the culture. What has doing it for the culture ever gotten?
Whack 100, Floyd's close friend and business partner, has pushed back against bankruptcy rumors, noting people have falsely claimed Mayweather was broke for over 20 years without proof. He insists Floyd still possesses luxury real estate and maintains an opulent lifestyle, dismissing financial trouble reports as exaggerated.
They're accusing him of going broke because he's looking for these fights.
They've been accusing Floyd of going broke for 20 years. Now, let's talk about going broke. Maybe down to 200 million. Maybe that's his broke. I don't know.
Maybe that's his broke.
What I do know is his homes are still there because when he tell me to come see him, it's the same addresses. Every time he called me, it's stars on the roof. Right? So I don't know unless somebody is hacked into this man's finances. They always accuse the man of going broke. So maybe he's bored.
Mainly 50.
Maybe he's bored. The number 50 don't mean nothing because he's still performing.
Amid ongoing financial speculation, Floyd Mayweather Jr. has resumed training after announcing his comeback from retirement. He's currently preparing for upcoming exhibition bouts and a professional fight against Manny Pacquiao.
Right here, hook. Hook it. Hook right here.
Andre Ward emphasized that despite Floyd's flashy persona and lavish spending, he never abandoned his training regimen. Ward noted Mayweather maintained strict discipline throughout his career, consistently exercising and staying in peak physical shape. Even in retirement, Floyd preserved the same dedication and work habits that kept him competitive.
See the flash, even though you see the glitz, even though you see Floyd in the streets ripping and running, one thing he never neglected was the gym. He always stayed true to his roots and he perfected his craft, and that's why he became who he became. I personally wish that Floyd Mayweather at 49 years old would be somewhere kicking up his feet, living off his investments.
Addressing growing speculation about Floyd's financial struggles, Yana Mayweather announced she might seek employment. While she suggested boredom as her motivation, critics suspect Floyd has cut off or eliminated her financial support entirely.
Yaya, after being courted by her dad, an NBA YoungBoy, got on the internet and said something very interesting. She said, what did she say, Jasmine? Lately, you gotta expand it for me. Thank you so much. Lately, I've been bored. So I was thinking about getting a job for fun, or maybe work like 2 or 3 days out of the week just to see what it's like. Why not? Ooh, the entitlement, the laziness, the fact that she couldn't read the room. You know, there's people out here looking for jobs. I'm bored, so I'm just gonna get a job today. I couldn't even believe she tweeted that. I just couldn't believe. I said, oh my God, like, she is really.
Skeptics question whether Yana truly understands financial management principles. They contend that growing up wealthy doesn't automatically teach responsible money handling. Essential skills like budgeting, saving, and investing are critical, and without them, substantial wealth can vanish rapidly. This criticism extends to a broader pattern where second-generation heirs often squander inherited fortunes due to inadequate financial education or being raised prioritizing privilege over discipline.
You already know what's up. These little girls don't know how to do nothing. And she's sitting online saying, I'm bored. And y'all can say, well, her daddy rich, but like, well, what if something happens to her father? Oh, we got trust funds. Okay, cool. He may have trust funds. But does she know how to budget money? Does she know how to make money? Does she know the value of money? That empire, that estate is going to be gone. And statistics show that 85% of second wealth generators from their parents go broke because they don't understand how to manage it, which means there's a few reasons. Either we spent too much time making it, we didn't have time to educate our kids on it, and so we just gave them everything. Or two, they just don't give a damn. They just entitled, spoiled.
Experts believe Floyd should now focus on enjoying his accumulated wealth and relying on investments rather than returning to fighting. They view him as having the expertise and boxing knowledge to succeed as a promoter given his global recognition. However, questions persist about his promotional company's effectiveness, particularly since multiple fighters have reportedly departed after signing.
What I mean by that? Floyd Mayweather with his popularity, Floyd Mayweather with his knowledge of business, boxing business. He's made the mistakes. He's had to fight for everything that he's gotten, and he's built himself into a mega superstar, and he knows the ins and outs of the sport. I feel like if Mayweather Promotions was ran the way it was supposed to be run, Floyd Mayweather, in my opinion, should be running the sport of boxing. He should be the premier promoter in the sport. What promoter can stand up to Floyd Mayweather if his promotional company comes after you? But for whatever reason, Floyd Mayweather Promotions has not dominated the game. They sign a lot of guys, and then for whatever reason, those guys get released or there's an issue and they move on. I don't understand that, but my heart for Floyd would be to do just that. Enjoy the fruits of your labor, which we see him doing a lot. Living off your investments, which we hear him talk a lot about, and running the game as the premier promoter.
Andre Ward praised Floyd's legacy as both athlete and entrepreneur, arguing that criticism often ignores his genuine achievements inside and outside the ring. Ward noted Mayweather strategically constructed his brand around wealth and success, incorporating his lifestyle as part of his worldwide appeal.
Mayweather's responsible for y'all getting media credential at these big fights and getting these free lunches and being a part of a big event. But for years, I've heard people only talk about what Floyd Mayweather wasn't to them, what he did not do. How, even though this was a great event, it's generated tens of millions and in many cases, hundreds of millions, he should have stopped him. He was boring. He was this. I've always supported and pushed back on that narrative of Floyd Mayweather. Part of that is because of the way Floyd Mayweather goes about his business. He's been filthy rich. He's made his name, his legacy, and a lot of his reputation wasn't just the boxing, it was the money. It's the money man. What I have, what I'm driving, what I'm living in, what I'm flying in. And a lot of people, they don't like that. I don't know if Floyd Mayweather had more supporters for most of his fights or more haters. But regardless of where you fall on that line, Floyd Mayweather made it work for him when many people, promoters included, networks included, early on didn't think that he.
Jake Paul has condemned discussions about a potential Floyd-Pacquiao rematch, calling it an unnecessary circus. He criticized the constant delays, contract disputes, and promotional chaos for damaging boxing's reputation. Paul accused the sport of depending too heavily on recycled storylines and familiar faces instead of creating fresh, exciting matchups fans would genuinely anticipate.
Problem with boxing is people in the sport who aren't professional and it makes us all look bad. It's terrible, and it's so archaic and old, and there's so many egos. People think that they're bigger or better than they are multiple times. They have terrible teams around them that's like their homie from, back in the day running for them, and because of that, these types of deals don't get done, and it all comes down to like, oh, well, ring size, and you can't wear these shoes and this type of glove, and you can't wear this glove. It's like, bro, stop being a fight. Like, that's the problem with the sport, and that's probably what they're running into, a lack of professionalism. And
amid continued online speculation about Floyd's finances, reports emerged claiming Manny Pacquiao purchased Mayweather's Los Angeles boxing gym. These claims spread rapidly across social platforms, intensifying debates about Mayweather's financial status.
This is major news. Manny Pacquiao now has a home gym in LA. Pacquiao Prime Boxing Limitless. The truth is, I came today to Hollywood to check out Chuck Norris' start. It's the second time in LA. Last week I looked for it, I couldn't find it. I came back today, was able to find it. It was not easy to find. And I came to pay respect. Chuck Norris, an icon, the legend, passed away. I'm happy to see people didn't forget him. They leave flowers and pictures and things for him. And I'll get into that second half of this video. But as I'm coming back to my car, I look up and I see this sign. And I caught up with one of the residents, a lady that lives nearby, and she told me this used to be Mayweather Fitness. Check it out. Manny Pacquiao wins the first round heading in.
WAC 100 addressed Floyd's renewed interest in major fights against Mike Tyson and Manny Pacquiao while responding to financial rumors. He dismissed money trouble claims, stating similar allegations have persisted for decades. WAC 100 argued that even if Mayweather's net worth declined, it would remain massive compared to ordinary people, making bankruptcy claims absurd. He cited Mayweather's lifestyle and disciplined approach as proof of continued financial stability and control over his earnings.
He's gonna fight Mike Tyson, an exhibition match, and then after that they're saying August he's supposed to be fighting Manny Pacquiao. At the age of 49, after retiring almost 10 years ago. He's putting his 50-0 record on the line, and this is like, that's his thing, 50-0.
I will say this. Me and Floyd, we very close. I've left the strip club at 3 o'clock in the morning, where Floyd went to in a Rolls Royce. But he comes out the strip club in sweats and running shoes and jogs home 9-10 miles. 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, he'd been up all day. His mind, his body is still conditioned for who he is. His technique hasn't been.
What's your take on Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s current financial status?